breaking news now coming in. Well, the US Department of State has renewed its call for information on 5 key Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps figures, offering rewards of up to $10 million. The State Department's Rewards for Justice program is seeking information on IRGC Commander Ahmad Vahidi, Ali Abdullahi, head of the Khatam al-Anbiya Central Headquarters, Saeed Agajani, commander of the IRGC Aerospace Forces Drone Unit, Hamid Raza Lashkarian, who heads the IRGC Cyber Electronic Command, and Majid Kadimi, commander of the IRGC Intelligence Office. The State Department says individuals who provide actionable information may be eligible for relocation and a reward. Atul Ranjan is with us on this big story for more. Atul, the US, of course, renewing its reward for these IRGC key figures. 5 senior commanders have been named.
Well, yes, as US looks to tighten the control or the action over Iran as well as their officials. Now we are seeing a fresh round of action in that particular front as well, because the US Department of State Reward for Justice program, they have renewed a bounty that was being offered on several of the targets concerning IRGC, and that bounty has been raised to $10 million as of now for any sort of actionable intelligence that is provided by the public. Now, what the reward obviously focuses on top commanders of the IRGC, and they obviously include Ahmad Vahidi, who is the commander in the IRGC, Ali Abdullahi, who is the chief of Khatam al-Anbiya Central Headquarters, Saeed Agazani as well, who is the commander of the IRGC Aerospace Force Drone Unit. We have seen Hamid Raza Lashkarian as well, who is the chief of the Cyber Electronic Command, as well as Majid Kadimi, who is the commander of the IRGC Intelligence Office. Now, the allegation that the Washington has against these is that that these specific figures have been directing malicious cyber operations against U.S. infrastructure, and they have also been coordinating armed proxy attacks on U.S. personnel, and therefore the increase in the bounty is also something which is justified, is what Washington says.
All right, further breaking news also now coming in. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has stressed the need for the US to change its approach towards Iran and honor its legal obligations under the Islamabad Memorandum of Understanding. Pezeshkian has made the remarks during a meeting with Pakistan's Army Chief Field Marshal Asif Munir held in Tehran on Monday. The meeting comes as Pakistan continues its efforts to mediate and revive stalled talks between Iran and the US aimed at ending the 6-month-long conflict. The Islamabad brokered MOU signed in June called for an end to hostilities and the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, but negotiations have since stalled, with both sides accusing each other of violations. Atul Ranjan continues to be with us on this story. Atul, what is the Iran president said in this latest statement?
Well, the Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has held a high-level talk in Tehran on Monday. This meeting has been conducted with Pakistan's Army Chief and Field Marshal also, Asif Munir. Now, the core demand that Pezeshkian has raised after this meeting is that, he has emphasized that the U.S. must reverse its aggressive policies, and also on the commitment that was made under the Islamabad Memorandum of Understanding, which was, initial framework that was agreed upon by the two parties when it comes to establishing a temporary truce between the two. But since we have seen the violation of that temporary truce, now we are getting to hear from Pezeshkian that the U.S. must first...
Obviously, Pakistan is trying its best to mediate once again and revive the stalled talks. Is that why Asif Munir is in Tehran?
Well, certainly, the Islamabad MOU that was, finalized, that did not really work out. So that is why we see that Pakistan president has been, again trying to get involved in order to enforce the MOU that was signed by the two countries, and that is why we see that, this whole conversation that was heavily facilitated by Pakistan, also Qatar as well. But all of this is done, being done to ease the war and lift the economic blockage and all of the US forces deployment that we have been seeing in that region. All of that is being done, and certainly Pakistan is also, quite heavily, invested into the peace talks because of the fact that, it is also looking for an image makeover of itself when it comes to, global standing of the country itself.
All right, more breaking news also now coming in this hour. Union Minister for Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal has held a bilateral meeting with Japan.